Good evening and welcome to NDTV World's latest discussion on all the recent developments in the Israel-Hamas war, including Israel's recent military operation into Rafah, which began in the early hours of Tuesday. So this operation comes almost a month of deliberations, where the world kind of warned Netanyahu and the Israeli government not to go ahead with this operation, but
Israel seems to be moving ahead with the operation anyway.
Because they were adamant
they
that
haven't said they have launched a full-scale invasion, but there are reports indicating that there are special forces present inside Rafah. So they've crossed over from the Israeli side into Gazan territory of Rafah. They used that Kerem Shalom crossing to get into the area as per the latest reports. So Disha and I would like to discuss what could be the implications of this so-called ground invasion. Disha, could you shed some light on that? Like, why is Rafah so important, and what implications it could have?
So Rafah was essentially the last space of refuge for all the Gazans and Palestinians that had escaped from the northern Gaza into southern Gaza after Israel began its military operation into the Gaza Strip almost 7 months ago. So we saw that there were almost over a million Gazans in Rafah, and the border between Rafah and Egypt was one of the crucial borders where humanitarian aid was coming in. So Israel has now taken control of this border, which was the last border that wasn't under Israeli control. This was the only border of the Gaza Strip which wasn't under Israeli control and was free for Gazans to get humanitarian aid into the strip.
So that's a key part here, because the strip, the border crossing was used to get aid into the territory, and also for people to cross to the other side.
Yes, exactly.
To escape the war.
To escape the war. So now the fact that the border is under Israeli control does mean that there is a possibility that there'll be a halt of humanitarian aid coming into the strip, which again exacerbates the humanitarian crisis that's going on in the Gaza Strip.
And also the fact that you mentioned about 1.4 million people have sought refuge there, and people world over, the leaders world over had said that Israel doesn't seem to have an evacuation plan per se for the people who live there.
In fact, US President Biden had said that he had insisted that Israel must have a proper, well-planned evacuation plan to help all the civilians leave Rafah before starting any military operation to target Hamas headquarters, which Israel insists that the remaining Hamas operation is still in Rafah. So in order to finally defeat Hamas's operations in the strip, they need to go ahead with this Rafah operation.
So we also have to look at another aspect of this so-called invasion, is that it doesn't seem to cover the full part of Rafah as of now. They have only asked, Israeli authorities have only asked people living in the eastern part of Rafah to evacuate, so about 1 lakh people have been asked to evacuate. So what happens to the rest part of Rafah remains to be seen. But ground troops are inside the Rafah as per the latest reports are concerned.
So what we're also seeing is that Israel has not mentioned how long they're going to keep control of the crucial border that we were mentioning, or how long this military operation is going to go on. IDF has not given any proper information regarding that yet. So it remains to be seen how long this operation will be, how many casualties there will be, because despite starting this operation, there were also airstrikes in Rafah, which killed about 15 to 20 civilians.
And reports also suggest that when Israel authorities asked people to evacuate, there were bombings exactly in those areas.
Exactly.
So there are conflicting reports emerging from that area. So we'll also look at the fact that the ceasefire deal, which was supposed to happen, reports had suggested that a positive outcome of the ceasefire deal could happen, but sadly that hasn't happened. It remains a quandary, and the Qatar and Egypt-backed deal was accepted by Hamas,
Right.
but Israel doesn't seem to be happy with what Hamas has
Yeah,
responded.
they mentioned that
Yeah.
the terms did not meet their requirements
Yeah.
in order to agree to the ceasefire deal. So
There are so the deals says it has to be in a three-phase kind of a ceasefire. So there are three phases of the deal that Hamas has backed. The first phase will have a 42 day duration. Hamas wants, that 33 Israeli hostages should be swapped with some 30 children and women who have been captured by Israel over the years. This is one of the conditions of the phase one. Phase two will also be of 42 days. It features an agreement to restore quote unquote sustainable calm in the area, which is Gaza. And it also asks for complete withdrawal of most Israeli troops from Gaza, which is a very contentious point because Netanyahu has been repeatedly saying that's not going to happen. They will be pushing through Hamas. And the last phase would be completion of exchanging bodies and starting the implementation of reconstruction. So reconstruction of Gaza is also
A
a very
major
major point of
ask,
discussion. Many reports suggest that the damage could be in terms of 10 or 20 billion dollar. So that's another major thing. And they also want a complete ending to the blockade of the whole strip. So this is the three stage of the deal that Hamas has agreed to, but Israel seems to not agree to it. So it remains in a deadlock.
yeah, ceasefire talks remain in a deadlock. So we're also seeing a lot of international reactions to Israel's military
Yeah.
operation in Rafah. So the U.S. Biden again reiterated his
Yeah.
position, warned Netanyahu against going ahead with this operation. He also spoke to the Jordan king, and they discussed the situation in Gaza and reiterated again that hostages need to be brought back. Then the UN chief also said that the operation in Rafah would cause intolerable damage and would cause a devastating humanitarian catastrophe. Then
And
we also saw
UK
that.
PM Rishi Sunak has also commented on
Yeah,
it and
he
said
said
that
that-
he's deeply concerned
Exactly.
about this invasion. So it has to be noted here that US, UK, US and its allies, they've all been saying that this Rafah operation should not go through unless there is a concrete plan of
Right.
how to save the civilians there.
Right.
So they've all reacted on it. European Union has also said that evacuation orders, it could lead to more war and famine in the area.
Right.
So yeah,
The EU foreign policy chief Joseph Borrell,
Yeah.
he also said that there are no safety zones in Gaza or in Rafah. Asking civilians to move to these safety zones is still not helping because
Yeah.
there are continuous attacks even
Yeah.
in these so-called
Yeah.
safety zones.
it has
So-
been happening throughout
Exactly,
the war.
exactly. So he said that he criticized Netanyahu for going ahead with this operation in Rafah. So we're seeing a lot of criticism from many Western countries, but not just the West. We're also seeing criticism from Israel's neighbors and Arab countries. Egypt has said that Egypt has asked Israel to exercise the highest level of restraint. Has said that this operation will lead to extreme human damage and human.
And as you mentioned
yeah.
earlier, Jordan's king has also, said that this could lead to a big massacre in
Of
the area.
Palestinians, yes,
So
another massacre. of
Leaders across the
Palestinians.
world, Middle East, the West, they are all saying that this operation can't go through. So it remains to be seen how Israel will respond to it.
Right. So, talk to us a little bit about, based on these reactions, do you think that the West's support towards Netanyahu could decline based on this Rafah attack? Because
Yeah.
we're seeing that we did see that the US gave the US gave Israel over $16 billion of military aid.
Yeah.
But then we're also seeing that Biden continues to criticize
Yeah, and
Netanyahu.
if I'm not wrong, Biden had also said that future support to Israel will also depend on
How they go ahead with
how
this
they go ahead with this
operation.
operation,
Yeah.
and if this operation results in big loss of life, US so far US has been saying that. It doesn't support the Rafah op, but on the same hand, US is also providing Israel with weapons.
Yeah,
So
military.
maybe that shift in policy could happen if there is, big loss of life there.
Yeah, because certain reports also indicated that US is stopping ammunition support or
Yes.
temporarily stopping ammunition support to Israel. So it will be interesting to see how the West continues to react on this operation. Will they show the same kind of support that they've been showing Israel in the past? Because within the country itself, within Israel itself, Netanyahu has been seeing a very weak domestic
Yeah.
support right now. We've been
Protests
seeing
all over,
constant
right?
protests
Yeah.
in the capital.
Yeah.
Demanding that he resign, demanding that
Yeah,
hostages be
hostages are
brought back,
released,
and
yeah.
demanding that he sign a ceasefire deal.
Yeah, and he also faces, sort of a quandary because his war cabinet, they want the invasion to go through, and the people, his supporters, not exactly supporters, but Israeli people in general, are sort of against the invasion because they want the hostages to be released.
Exactly.
So it is a very difficult situation for Netanyahu politically as well.
It's not that the Israeli public is, not against the military operation in Gaza, because we've also been seeing that many many members of the Israeli public have actually been attacking humanitarian aid trucks going
Yeah.
into Gaza. We've been seeing reports of that as well.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the other developments that have been happening in the Israel-Hamas war, we also saw that yesterday the Israeli cabinet banned Al Jazeera
Yes.
as a foreign media outlet in Israel, operating from Israel. So that was a very interesting development where they passed a law basically saying allowing for temporary shutdown of
Yeah.
foreign media outlets if it causes a threat to national
Yeah.
security. So
And
that
the
was an
argument
extremely
that they make is that it's sort of a mouthpiece of Hamas.
Exactly.
They have branded Al Jazeera as the mouthpiece of Hamas. Al Jazeera has obviously objected to that and said that it's a violation of the freedom of speech.
they've condemned the
Yeah.
ban quite strongly. So will it be
And
also
there was also a raid.
interesting-
As soon as they announced the ban, there was a raid at their offices in Jerusalem. So it remains to be seen what will happen to the future of Al Jazeera in the Middle East, because I think the area, Al Jazeera's office in Jerusalem also covered Gaza war.
Exactly.
So that could also affect coverage of the whole war.
Exactly. So, in a sense, many supporters of Al Jazeera are accusing Netanyahu of trying to restrict coverage of the Gaza war because it has been so strongly criticizing his actions and the massive humanitarian crisis that's happened in the Strip and the massive casualty numbers. More than 35,000 people have so far died in the
Yeah.
7-month-long war. So. Many are suggesting that his ban on Al Jazeera is also, in a sense, trying to stop further criticism of his actions and the IDF's actions in the Gaza Strip. Not just that, we're also seeing that Israel's diplomatic stance, in a certain sense, is or diplomatic position, in a certain sense, is declining, because we also saw that Turkey broke trade ties
Yeah.
with Israel,
Yeah.
and that's a crucial. It was a
Colombia also broke ties with
Yeah.
Israel.
So trade between Israel and Turkey was about $7 billion per year. So that's quite a big number. So we're also seeing in that sense that Israel is struggling with its diplomatic stance, because they might still have certain support from the West, but we're seeing many countries break ties with Israel.
All right. So, as of now, the focus will remain on Rafah because there's still Israeli forces are still entering, as the latest reports say. So, we'll keep an eye on Rafah and the rest of Gaza to bring you the latest updates. For now, it's goodbye from Disha.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
us
much
on
for joining.
NDTV World. Thank you.